Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Episode 1. Yeah, again, just like we unfortunately had to do with yesterday's Milo Murphy's Law reaction, we can only do one episode of this today. Just due to time constraints and everything. And I feel like time constraints are going to be a lot more noticeable now. Because, again, I do have to do a lot of packing to get ready to move at the beginning of next month. We don't know exactly when, but we're looking for either the first or the second weekend of June. And I'll update you guys, obviously, because that will affect reactions. But yeah, so we're doing one episode today. And I'm excited nonetheless, because She-Ra and the Princesses of Power easily became one of my favorite shows with its first season. It's so tightly written, it develops these characters so well and makes them so likable. It has great villains, great plot points, great conflicts, and just feels like such a well thought out show. Now I'm still hoping it doesn't go in the way it did. Because crap, my camera died. Hold on. Hopefully that doesn't happen during the reaction. But as you remember, Voltron kind of turned to crap after a few seasons and all, and it just started going really downhill because they were trying to do way too much. So I'm hoping that She-Ra doesn't follow suit with that. But either way, I am excited. Now, this season has 7 episodes, which is basically half the length of Season 1. Season 1 had 13, so not exactly half length, but close enough. So 7 episodes. And some people have been saying that it's like more like what they did with Voltron, and it feels like it should have just been part of Season 1. Like it was just like split up for no real reason. In terms of episode count, it might feel like that, but Season 1's finale felt like a season finale. It felt that grand. Not even a mid-season finale. It felt like a full season finale. So even though this season is shorter, I do consider it in every way a new season. And I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm really excited to see where these characters go, where the Princess Alliance goes, and just what we do with the villains, especially with Entrapta on the villain side and all. And I just really like the villains, too. I'm wondering what they're going to do with Shadow Weaver in this season, because she's kind of had a massive fall from grace in terms of Hordak's allegiance and stuff. And yeah, I just wonder what they're going to do with her. If she's even going to be that big of a player in this one. Obviously, Catra is going to have a lot to do. I mean, it's Catra. And because she's going to have a lot to do, Scorpia and Entrapta probably will too, because they kind of all work together. They're kind of their own team, in a way, which I like. I like that Catra has her own alliance in the same way that Adora has her Princess Alliance, with Glimmer, Bow, Mermista, and all of them. So yeah, that's going to be fun to see. Now, one thing to note is that this series is very, very LGBT forward. It's like, it doesn't even try to hide that fact. There's a lot of possible representation. And I say possible representation because nothing has been confirmed. Aside from 2 characters, Netthroa and Spinnerella, I believe their names are. I might be completely wrong on that. Or Netossa and Spinnerella. Those 2 are confirmed a couple. But otherwise, it's just kind of all speculation. Like, we can speculate that Adora and Catra used to be a couple, and there's definitely a lot of hints of that. We can speculate that Adora and Glimmer have a romantic connection. You can speculate that Glimmer and Bow may have a connection. Or Mermista and Seahawk. and so on and so forth. There's a lot of speculation, but again, nothing confirmed. Nothing is set in stone. And that's why there's so many different ships. Like, I've seen from the fandom, although not as big as other fandoms, they still have a lot of different ships. Especially with Adora. Like, I see Adora shipped with pretty much everyone. Of course, the big two being Glimmer and Catra. But like, I've even seen her shipped with Perfuma, which is interesting. And it's just like, I don't mind it at all. I've seen Bo shipped with Seahawk and stuff. And it's like, all of them kind of work because there's actual precedence too, and the show kind of sets that up. On top of it, the show has a very just general acceptance of that kind of thing. Like, there is a scene in season 1 where Adora and Glimmer are in a my mind is blanking. A jacuzzi. Let's just say a fucking jacuzzi. I can't think of the actual word right now. But they're in one of those at Glimmer's aunt's place, and you see Glimmer fall asleep against Adora, and Adora like opens her eyes and smiles and stuff, and it's very heavy with the LGBT implication. Not to mention the first season did kind of end off with this giant rainbow. And it's gathered a lot of attention for that kind of thing. It's basically, it's not given us explicit representation, again, except for Natasha and Spinnerella. But it is giving us acceptance of that kind of ideology. And I hope that they go further with that in a way in this season. I hope that they do confirm stuff. And heck, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to heterosexual couples either. Like, again, I ship Seahawk and Mermista. I do. I think that they would make a great couple. And on the same hand, it's like I do still ship Adora and Glimmer. And I also want to talk about, though, moving away from that as well, I do want to talk about various things with Catra, because Catra, I still feel is going to get redeemed at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll happen this season or somewhere else in the future, but I do still feel like she's going to get redeemed. And I hope that when she does, I actually hope that Scorpia doesn't. I think Entrapta will get redeemed first. Then Catra will get redeemed, but I hope Scorpia doesn't. I hope Scorpia actually sees it as a betrayal. And despite being such a silly, nice, and cute type of character, I hope she actually gets really serious about it, because it would actually give a good contrast to Catra as a character, and it would make sense in terms of their relationship and showing their different sides in a way. Seeing Catra go to the good side, which makes the character who seemed good in the first place end up showing her true colors in a way. I think it would just be really cool to see. There's also the old woman in the forest, I can't remember her name right now, who helped Adora and stuff. I hope to see more of her. There's there's the horse, whose name I can't remember as well. We'll probably see more of him. And just various other characters. I want to continue to see the growing relationship of Glimmer and her mom. Maybe even find out more about Glimmer's father, because that was brought up a little bit in Season 1. The point is, there's a lot that I want to see with this season. And I know it's not going to deliver on everything, especially since it's only 7 episodes, but I'm hoping for the best. And that's also, by the way, another reason why we're only doing 1 episode today, and probably are only going to do 1 at a time. Because with Season 1, I did end up doing multiple episodes on a couple of occasions because I was really into it and just wanted to continue seeing more. But with only 7 episodes this time, it's like, I don't think I want to rush through it that quickly, you know? Because I could finish this in 4 weeks, maybe even 3, if I did multiple episodes a week. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to finish it that quick. So, Either way, we are going to get this started and move on with Season 2. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so we are back with more of this, and yeah, I am so happy to be back. It's just as great as I remember. Fantastic start, and really a really strong start too. Like, not only did we get some great moments with our Princess Alliance and everything, we have Bo being awesome and coming up with a really great idea in studying the robots. We have Bo, and, well, presumably he's going to tell everyone else that Entrapped is still alive, and that means that they did leave her behind, and obviously she's working for the bad guys now, so all of that's going to come to light. Which is good, because that was one of my very few issues with Season 1, that they just left Entrapped and assumed she was dead, even though there was no evidence to that. Even from their point of view. And on top of it, we also got the Horde basically doing better than ever. Which makes Shadow Weaver almost seem just useless. Which is really interesting to me. That Shadow Weaver has come across as such a useless character, but I think they're going to work something into that. I think that something is going to come from that. I don't know what, but I don't feel like, especially with Shadow Weaver having a focus in this episode, I don't feel like her being as useless as she was, and Catra doing so much better, I don't feel like that's going to just be wasted. I don't know where it's going to go, but yeah. And then we also see that Catra and her team report directly to Hordak, like, not even going through a screen or anything. They're reporting directly to him, in front of his face and all. So that's really interesting, because I think in Season 1, we pretty much didn't see him in person, basically. It was all over, like, a television screen or shit. I think we might have seen him in person maybe once, but that's about it. So it's interesting that Catra and all are reporting directly to him, but I guess with Catra kind of taking over for Shadow Weaver, that makes sense. I wonder how big of a role Hordak is going to play in this season compared to the last one. I'm thinking he's probably going to be more important, but still not, like, super active as the villain yet. Meanwhile, we also have Frosta. So in Season 1, Frosta was kind of cold, to use that pun. She was kind of cold and reserved and very intense. But we see here she's almost completely done a 180 in terms of personality. She's now kind of this over-obsessive fangirl for Glimmer, and just, like, going completely nuts and doing her best and having fun and laughing and getting excited. And it was weird at first. It really confused me at first. But then I did start to get it. I'm like, she was very held off and reserved. She kept herself isolated in a way in Season 1. And I mean, I didn't put together necessarily the entire lack of friends thing and having to basically have everyone she knew serve under her and having to kind of rule from such a young age and kind of becoming cold because of that. But still, I got the general gist of it. And, excuse me. And it all makes sense, though. It all makes sense why she would be like this. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. Why she would be like this and why she's going to just kind of 180 when she does make real friends. And when she wants to be accepted and she wants to be loved in a way. She's never really had that before. She's never really known that kind of affection and relationship. Again, all she's ever had are those who serve under her. She's had to be cold. She's had to be um, rather stern and serious because that's what was needed of her. But now that she's part of the Princess Alliance, now that she has these friends, she's opening up. And it's actually really cute. And I like that her obsession is specifically with Glimmer. Not just because Glimmer is best girl, but I think that this is going to help Glimmer as well. Because as Glimmer said in this episode, as she told Frosta, she kind of reminds her of herself. She's done some really reckless things and gotten into some trouble and just really needed to mature. And throughout season one, she did, especially because of Adora, even though Adora's kind of goofy at times too. Um, and I think that having Frosta, this like young girl, as sort of this surrogate daughter figure almost, I think it's going to help Glimmer mature and become stronger. And I mean, hell, even just have something more to fight for. And yeah, I say surrogate daughter figure, and yeah, they're friends. And yes, there is a definite age difference there. But I mean, when I was younger, I had friends who were older than me. When I was like less than 10 years old, like Frost is here, I had teenage friends. I did. And it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, we played Pokemon cards and baseball and stuff with each other. It's like, as long as kids can be friends with teenagers, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's a legitimate friendship and all. One thing I do want to know, though, is how old exactly is Glimmer? I actually don't know that for sure. I don't know really any of their ages, to be completely honest. Let me see if I can find that out real quick. Well, her birthday is December 1st. I'm not seeing anything about a specific age. I know they're teenagers. That much I know for sure. Because that's been basically stated and all, but... yeah, this isn't saying. Yeah, this isn't saying anything regarding to, regarding her age. Let me see if I can find it out from here. Yeah, I'm still not seeing anything. I don't think I want to think they're like probably around 16 or so. If I were to give them an age, I would say probably around 16, maybe 15 at the youngest. But then some of them, like Mermista and Perfume, I think are also older. I think they're more 17, 18 years old. I think Adora is probably 15 or 16. Glimmer is 15 or 16. Same with Bo. Frosta, she said she became princess and all when she was 8, right? So is she still 8 or is she 9? Either way, so 8 or 9 for her. Spinnerella and Natasha, I think, are also a little older, so 17, 18. But they're all in that kind of range, you know. They're all teenagers still. They're this generation of princesses, basically. And Tracta, I also think, is around 15 or 16, by the way. Now, I will say Catra's around the same age as Adora, but Scorpia, I think, is actually the oldest one we've seen in terms of the princesses. Because Scorpia is actually a princess. Scorpia, I think, is actually in her early to mid-20s. I would say at the youngest, 21, and at the oldest, 24, maybe 25. Yeah, 25 at the absolute oldest. I don't think she's that old, but she's definitely older than everyone else. That much is clear. But yeah, either way, there's nothing wrong with like kids being friends with teenagers. Again, as long as it's a legitimate friendship, that there's nothing weird going on or any shit. But I mean, again, I've been there. I was there when I was in elementary school. I had a a specifically teenage friend. I do not remember his name. But I remember we played the Pokemon trading card game together. Both in regular cards and on the Game Boy version. We played all kinds of different games together. We would hang out. We did baseball. We did street hockey. Uh, all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, we were legitimate friends. And obviously that was a long time ago. So who knows where he is now? Who knows, and all of that. Um, I haven't had contact with him in a long ass time, but yeah, it's just it's very possible. It's very possible. And hell, I've had when I was in middle school and early high and my first time through ninth grade in high school, I had a friend who was younger, who was he wasn't quite that much younger, but he was like I think 11 or 12. Uh, no, no, he would have had to have been younger than that. Because I would have been like what 12 or 13. He would have probably been 9 or 10. Either way, he was notably younger. But like we hung out all the time. We played Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We played Crash Bandicoot. All kinds of stuff. And we were legitimate friends. And there was nothing weird or strange going on. And granted, in that neighborhood that I'm talking about, there were a lot of us as well who were friends. It was probably my biggest group of friends that I actively and consistently hung out with. I have more friends technically currently, a lot more, but I don't actively and consistently hang out with them. The most consistent friend I hang out with, like actually hang out with, is my friend who I go to the bar with almost every Thursday. Um, Otherwise, the closest I usually get on a consistent basis is my friends at church, but most of that's church activities. So, um, but yeah, yeah. The point is, like, I like that they're showing this kind of relationship, and like I said, I kind of referred to Glimmer as this like surrogate mother figure for her, and she can fill that role. She even said that she kind of sounded like her mother when she yelled at her. And I want Glimmer to kind of take on that role. Not like be still a friend and everything. A friend type relationship. But also be kind of a mentor to her. Help her. Help her understand how to act, how to react, what to do. Because here's the thing. Before they had that talk, Frosta was just going every which way. She was ignoring orders. She was taking reckless moves. She was ignoring what they were trying to do and just destroying shit. Which, was working, but not what it didn't help them. And then after she and Glimmer had that talk, they worked together. They meshed. And it allowed them to, it allowed Frosta to be able to use her abilities still, but in a much more useful way, in a way that helped the mission and her friends. So it's just like I want Glimmer to be that mentor figure to her, that mother-like figure to her, but I still want their relationship to still be friendship. It's complicated, But either way, I do really enjoy this this premiere. And again, going with what I said in the pre-thoughts about some people saying that because of the length and all, it didn't feel like this was another season. This felt like a season premiere. This felt in every way like it was starting a new season. Like everything from the first season was kind of one entire story arc almost. And this feels like it's going into the next stage. Like it's a completely separate arc of the story. And that's what a new season finale should feel like. So, in every way, this is a new season, and it feels like a new season. Um, Unlike Voltron, Voltron did have that issue, and that wasn't even a major issue. That wasn't one of the big issues Voltron had, but that was an issue Voltron had with some of its seasons, where season finales didn't really feel like finales, premieres didn't really feel like premieres, and it felt like those seasons should have been the same season. Um, yeah, it's just, yeah. Voltron really kicked itself in the ass in the end, didn't it? It still had some good parts to it too, though, and especially Pidge. Pidge is still great. um, but either way, I do hope that you enjoyed this reaction. Tell me what you thought of this episode down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,